Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Keith Rosmarin, and I hold the portfolio of the skills portfolio and lead that in Bepesa. Welcome everybody today from a blustery Cape Town, and good to have the rain nonetheless. Today we're going to have an exciting session, and this forms part of our launch of the SA Youth Roadshows, which kicked off with 2 national roadshows held a few months ago, and then regional roadshows held in each region. And with that, I'd like to hand you over to Samkelo Blom, who is the regional representative for Bepesa in the Western Cape. Enjoy the session this afternoon. Samkelo, over to you.
Thank you very much, Keith. Good afternoon to everyone. As Keith has mentioned, my name is Samkelo, surname is Blom. I'm the regional rep for Bepesa in the Western Cape. So I'm also with you in this cold, chilly Western Cape. We had our first rains yesterday. It rained the whole night. So I hope today goes very well and you enjoy the session as well. In terms of our agenda today, I'm going to do the welcome to our panelists and also you as well. We'll speak briefly about the importance of impact sourcing and inclusive hiring. My colleague and my friend from Cape BPO, Clayton, is joining us and he will take us through that. We'll speak brief about SA Youth and what does it offer in our sector and business. And my dear sister Hanali will take us practically now into the platform, how to use it, how to register, how to track. And right towards the end, we're going to have a live session where you can ask questions and get answers. And then as we close, there will be a call to action. So please enjoy. And there's a chat box. If you've got any questions, you need clarity, we are monitoring that chat box. Feel free to drop a question or to ask something. This session must also be beneficial for you as a critical member as well. Thank you. These are the people who are joining me. Special thanks to our friends at Harambee, our friends at DTIC, our friends also from KPPO and also Invest SA, who are our partners in this. As I've mentioned, Clayton from KPPO. Thank you, Clayton, for joining and also for speaking in this one. Tracy from Harambee will also speak. Hanali will also then take us practically to the platform, show us how it works, almost like what they call in IT a user experience. My sister in the Eastern Cape, Lynn, is joining us here as well. Lynn is the regional rep for the Eastern Cape. And then my brother, Jorgen, in KZN, Sawubona Jorgen, is also joining us. And my dear friend from from Gauteng, Shona, is also joining here as well. And we're pushing the slides. Thank you. So without wasting time, let me hand over to Clayton, who's going to take us to the importance of impact sourcing. Thanks, Clayton.
Thank you, Samkelo, and good afternoon to all. And I didn't get the chance to formally congratulate you on your appointment to being the Western Cape rep. That's why they call us the gangster province. That being said, just I think a high-level view and what's being represented in front of you in terms of that slide, we can see that especially from 2014 onwards, there's been exponential growth in the sector, where we've grown in excess of kind of 20% year on year from a compounded growth perspective. And I think with that comes, extremely bold and bullish targets being set at the moment around the growth potential of the sector and the demand that can be stimulated as a result thereof. And obviously, hand in hand with that goes pressures related to supply and the supply of staff that can service clients and customers in a high performing kind of way. And I think that's a really nice lead into the whole notion of impact sourcing and their importance thereof. And I've got 3 key positionings around impact sourcing that I would like to share. So Shona, if you can just move on to the next slide for me. Okay, I think while she does, I'll just speak to those 3 key points. I think, in my opinion, a common misconception that I've certainly had to defend, especially in the investor community over the past couple of years, is this notion that, with specific reference to our region, the Western Cape, that the talent pipeline and supply is saturated. And I think whilst a large percentage of staff that work within our sector have worked for multiple operators, I think that we need to look at alternatives in terms of both the profile of staff that we recruit, as well as how we go about recruiting and sourcing staff. And then I think secondly, impact, in again, my opinion, impact sourcing is not about just hiring the profile of previously disadvantaged, previously unemployed and excluded youth, but it's also about shifting and pivoting the way in which we source candidates. Almost the notion of taking opportunities to people, to our people and to our communities. And from what I understand around SA Youth, I think, I'm going to learn a lot about it in a very short time, but that certainly does serve as a mechanism to unlock and facilitate the placement of staff that didn't necessarily historically have access to opportunities. Now through this platform, absolutely do. And that being said, I think finally is the fact that from a DTI offshore grant perspective, and to show that the DTI certainly supports the notion of impact sourcing and acknowledges the importance of opening up opportunities to previously excluded youth. It's now 20% of hires that are claimed for must be inclusively hired as a target, which does again, as I've said, reiterate their commitment to this whole notion of inclusivity. And then I think finally from a Western Cape, and more specifically from a Cape BPO perspective, we definitely support any such endeavors to not just create alternative talent pipelines, but any mechanism that can facilitate the gainful employment of unemployed youth. Because I'm sure we've all horrified by the statistics that are shared with us around what percentage of our broader population are unemployed, and with specific reference to what percentage of our youth are unemployed. So as I've said, we definitely support and will continue to support any such endeavors. And with that being said, yeah, I'll hand over back to the team.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Clayton. A word that has come true with is a theme in what you've said is talent. And in any business, something that keeps CEOs awake at night is talent. And today we're speaking about how to acquire that talent, creative means, what platform we can use to get that talent. So now we're going to watch a video on the importance of impact sourcing, and then we'll move on to the next part of the agenda. Thank you, Clayton.
I was looking for a job for 3 years. I did the drop off of my CVs with no luck because I didn't have qualifications, I didn't have degree, I didn't have job experience. I was depressed. And sometimes I could sleep with an empty stomach.
If people have got nothing to lose, they've got nothing to lose. Being exposed to Harambe's model and what they were doing, it completely resonated with me. So I kind of got into impact sourcing almost by accident. And now there are all these other benefits, but up front, I wasn't getting into it because I thought my retention rates were going to be better or anything else. It was just about trying to make a difference.
Harambe literally is that ready for work environment. They teach you focus, they teach you how to channel your energy, what is it that you need to do when you get into a workplace.
We went into impact sourcing for the right reasons, social responsibility, but I think we're staying as well with impact sourcing because of the benefits we've seen to our clients' customers as well as the financial benefits. So not only did I get the best customer experience I've ever had in the history of my account, but I've also received the financial gain back into our shareholders as well for bringing 500 Harambes on board.
Professor's got a strategic partnership with Harambe Youth Employment Accelerator and with the DTI, and collectively the three parties drive the growth agenda for the sector in South Africa. What's really significant in this is the ability to influence the way in which the sector can contribute to job creation inclusively, and that government and business co-create the sectoral growth plans and the development plans that are put together by the parties.
As a business person, impact sourcing is not a choice. impact sourcing is a necessity?
With regards to creating an enabling environment, we focus on infrastructure development, skills development, investment promotion, and creating a cost-competitive environment through incentives. The requirements of the incentive encourages companies to employ 80% youth. 20% of those should be focused on unemployed youth. So we encourage 20% of impact sourcing through the incentive program.
In the context of the South African global business services sector in South Africa, which is scaling at around 25% per annum, we've had to think of new innovative solutions to scale impact sourcing. When we conceptualized the solution with Vodacom, it was understood that this is a first in the context of our country. How does a private sector organization contract with a social enterprise and entrust a significant percentage of their customer service delivery in the name of impact sourcing? And really that's where the Simulation Academy model was born.
The benefit we've seen back into the business is an uplift in all of our key metrics. So we've seen a reduction in calls, we've seen the ability to grow our digital footprint. So it's created new opportunities of growth for us that didn't exist previously. And it spoke to what's at the core. How do we deliver the best customer experience possible? We could take those learnings, apply them back into the other business partners we have, and we've seen an overall lift in our estate.
I've been on Altron Bytes People's Solution for 3 months now. This means a lot. It means a lot to me to be employed because now I'm independent. I can take care of myself. So it means a change to my future because I can study further and then I can do whatever that I want to do.
Right, excellent. Thank you very much. Right towards the end, we did hear the lady saying that it means a change in her life and it means that she can do a lot. So we can see that there's been an impact for the organizations, but also impact for those who've been employed and the various stakeholders, whether it's PEPESA, people who are part of it, everyone speaks about the impact. So as PEPESA, we are the champions and we're also influencing this part of inclusive hiring and also impact sourcing as well. And as we go on, we'll speak more in detail around that in terms of the SA Youth and how you also can benefit in that as well. Next one, Lee. So you, as a member of PEPESA of KPPO, when you adopt this, your benefits will be, you'll be able to have more inclusive hiring, where you are able to tap into more diverse, as Clayton has mentioned, talent as well. You also will get insights in terms of what do applicants look and what's available in the job market and how to better manage acquiring talent in this platform. You will share the knowledge, what has worked for you. Also, you'll become the advocate of that as well. And as PEPESA, we're committed to assisting you in that as well. Without wasting time, I'm going to give over to Tracy, who will speak of SA Youth and what does it offer. Noel has already asked a question. We'll keep that question. When we come to the live Q&A, we'll tackle that question as well. Thank you, Shona.
Good afternoon, everybody. As I've been introduced, I'm Tracy Swart. I work directly with Harambee, and my responsibility is as one of the partners to PEPESA with the DTRC to try and work and see how we can encourage the sector and support the sector in terms of growth. And definitely from our perspective, we think that SA Youth is a great platform to do that. I'm going to switch off my video while I go through the slides. So just to say, essentially here, we're here today to showcase our platform SA Youth and to kind of give an indication through both just some of the slides that I'm going to go through now, but definitely through the live demo that Hanli is going to do of how this can streamline your processes in terms of recruitment, but also to support young people out there who haven't had access to opportunity, who haven't had access to employment, and how we can help build that 20% element of your recruitment into your daily processes. So where did SA Youth come from? In a nutshell, you would have heard the President's SONA address. It goes back the last 3 years, where he's mentioned that there's a strategic national vision that is going to set out a whole lot of actions to address youth unemployment, and that there's going to be, partners working with the presidency on this initiative, and Harambee is one of those people. So essentially, we've been working with the presidency for the last 3 years to work out how we can change the model that we had initially adopted and implemented in terms of our work readiness programs, and share that model so that we can achieve greater scale. I think Clayton alluded to, sort of some of the misconceptions in the market around whether there are people or aren't people available in terms of these roles and the opportunity to grow the sector. And there most definitely are. In fact, we can't get enough people through training and into these roles. So from our perspective as Harambee, it was how can we share what we're doing with as many people as possible to try and accelerate the number of people to get the growth that we need to get into the sector. So you can see that, SA Youth essentially is a network of networks. It works on both the young person's side. So a young person, if you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, a young person would be able to access this platform, create a profile for themselves, and all of this is data-free, and get access to a central repository of opportunities that are within their geographic area. So these young people are supported with work-seeking tips, with how to build their CV. The platform is iterating all the time, and over time it's going to have bite-sized chunks of training material on it. It supports young people in hustle opportunities until such time as more formal sector opportunities come about. And we really are working on an ongoing basis to try and make sure that young people are engaging with the platform on an ongoing basis so that we understand their employment journey. On the left-hand side, you'll see that we have what we're calling a partner network, which is a partner access point. And Harambee, in their traditional work over the last 10 years, has formed relationships with probably about 600 partners across the country. We're encouraging those partners now to sign up onto the platform to allow them to actually engage directly with these young people in terms of opportunities that they have. So essentially, you would have access to 1.5 million engaged work seekers nationally. I think the benefit of this as well is that we no longer are just restricted to the geographic areas where Harambee historically had offices. We now are encouraging young people right across the country to apply and to create a profile. And I think for a lot of the work from home models that we're starting to see arise, we know that there's a lot of township models starting to be developed. This means that young people, wherever they are, will be matched using algorithms to opportunities in their direct area. So no longer just focused on the bigger cities, but more nationally focused. So a young work seeker will go on, as I said, they'll be able to create a profile. The way that the platform has been designed on both sides of the partner and the young person, it's a very intuitive process. So it's not complicated at all. It asks the young people questions, it talks to them in their language, and helps them build a profile that will allow us to now start matching skill, capability, if necessary, qualification against the profile of the young person that you're seeking. So work seekers will then be able to go onto the profile, as I say, update their information as and when that changes. They're constantly able to engage in content that will be able to upskill themselves. So like I mentioned, if they need help how to build their CV, if they need help into how to actually try and look for a job themselves and what resources they could use to try and do that, that information is available on the platform for them. But what that profile is primarily used and why it should be of interest to the audience here today is that it really helps us take that young person and match them to opportunities either in the economy, through stipend work, through learnerships, part-time jobs, volunteering, or learning opportunities. And really the concept that the presidency was wanting to achieve is a network of networks. So it's really joining the dots between all of the opportunities and all the young people so that they can come to one place, to a data-free environment, and find an opportunity. So the benefit, as I said, is that you'll have access to a population of 1.5 million engaged work seekers. This number of candidates is growing frequently. As I said, we've got national coverage. It also gives you the ability to source young people that would qualify for the employment tax incentive, and also to assist with the DTRC incentives in terms of their qualifying criteria, or which candidates qualify from an impact sourcing perspective. So these solve some challenges for BPO operators in that we understand that there's sort of significant numbers of CVs come into the business. These all need to be reviewed, and they all kind of come in their own formats, etc. This is often a time-consuming process. So, just trying to eliminate that, all of the data that you see represented, and when Hudley goes through it, it'll make more sense. But, you'll be able to really, in a very short space of time, address which work seekers you want to engage further with once they've put up their hand or expressed interest in the opportunity that you've offered. The long turnaround times will be diminished. And you'll also have the opportunity to make sure that you are sourcing applicants who are within a sustainable travelling distance to your offices. We know that for most of these young people, travel costs are one of the highest costs that they face on a monthly basis. And that's one of the things that Harambie's been really focused on in the development of SA Youth, is to make sure that we show opportunities to young people in a sort of periphery environment to them that would make it sustainable from a travel point of view. So I think I have touched on quite a few of these things already. SA Youth is definitely should be the key sourcing point for GBS entry-level roles. It's an easy self-service partner portal. It's got an automated process for matching candidates against, the profile that you require in terms of the specific role that you're advertising. It's using AI to actually do that matching and give you validated candidates who meet the DTR incentive requirements for inclusive hiring. The access, as I said, to a big population of young people. And I think what the greatest opportunity here is that this sourcing is totally free of charge, not only to yourself, but there's also no fee to the young people or to the candidates who have got profiles on the platform. We have got a validation process that makes sure that any opportunity that does get loaded to the platform is loaded with integrity. So in other words, it is a legitimate opportunity, and that our young people are not being sort of encouraged to pay fees to apply for jobs or to pay fees for training, etc. So we have got a process where we validate all of those opportunities and make sure that they are legitimate, and that our young people are not spending money either on transport and or submitting their CVs where there is no real opportunity. From a business point of view, I think you can see that this would result in significantly reduced sourcing costs, even just from the administration perspective in terms of managing high volumes of CVs through your HR and recruiting areas. It's much more, sort of efficient. One of the other things that I never mentioned outside of the profile that they create, there's also an opportunity for you to ask customized questions, which Hanley will go through, and even more important for the BPO and GBS space, is that they would be able to submit a voice note. So you can actually ask some questions. The candidate would submit a voice note with the answers to those questions, or whichever, so that you can actually sort of get a sense of English comprehension and or English accent, which is obviously very useful from an international BPO perspective, particularly. So as I said, I'm going to welcome Hanali now, and Hanali is going to go through a real live demo of SAYouth.mobi. As Keith and a couple of other people have mentioned, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. Somebody will bring them to Hanali's attention, and she can either answer them immediately or revert back to them at the end of the session. Over to you, Hanali.
Thanks, Tracy, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hanli de Bot. I'm the head of IT enablement at Harambee. But in this case, I will be the person or responsible for making sure that you are supported when you join the SA Youth Network from a partner perspective. So I'm just going to share my screen and then quickly run through a demo. For today, we will be focusing on looking at how you, as somebody that would like to what we call opportunities, but is actually jobs, how you would create a job or an opportunity on the SA Youth Partner Network, which then gets shared with young people. So although the partner network consists of lots of different areas, that will be our focus for today, but I'm happy to answer any other questions as well. Okay. Cool. So I think just touching on that, I am using our UAT platform, and as the demo Murphy's Law, our developers are also doing deployments today. So if things are a little slow, just bear with me. I will explain things as I go along. So on the SA Youth Partner Network, you will have access to a few areas. The first one is your organization, and right at the end, I will show you how you can register. So it's still fresh and you can go and immediately register yourself. But once you are registered and we've activated your profile after some vetting, you can come and add additional users to your organization. So in the organization area, you are able to manage your users, add other people of your organization to work on the platform, and also obviously make some changes to your profile if you need to. The one area I would like to highlight, though, is our manage addresses area. So what we found with a lot of our partners is some of their opportunities, they don't just have one address, they might have multiple offices of all locations. And therefore, we created an area where you can either bulk upload addresses, which you can use in your opportunities, or you can obviously use them one by one. So I'll show you while you are creating an opportunity how to add an address, but when I refer to that, I thought I'll just highlight this, that this is where you would add your address section. So for a lot of our community partnerships, and even maybe for some of the people joining the call, you might have some work seekers that you are aware of and that you would like to invite to the SA Youth network, to the SA Youth Mobi site. And you can do this by loading a work seeker list in the work seeker area. So basically, you will be able to share the contact details of those particular young people, and they will receive a SMS message, which will invite them to join the network if they would like to. So this is the other area within the partner network. But the area we're going to focus on today is opportunities. So of course, we want to and provide as many new opportunities to our young people as possible. And for that, we want to enable our partners to create these opportunities. So for any of you in the recruitment space, these type of screen will be very, very familiar to you. You will basically go to create a new opportunity, and you will then start with your opportunity title. Now, we know from our experience that we have to be very clear in what this opportunity is all about. So, and also sometimes what helps for young people to recognize things is even a area that opportunity will be engaged in. But we have lots of supporting documentation that we share with you around how the best way is to create an opportunity. So of course, we have our opportunity title. That will be the main heading for your opportunity. And from there, there's some settings that you can do. Very important, of course, is when up to when the young people have time to apply. We do see that the majority of the young people apply within a few days, so that doesn't necessarily need to be a long period. And then some further detail that you might like to share. For example, what type of contract it would be, in which sector this particular opportunity will be. So just basically giving an overview of what it is that this young person is applying for. The number of vacancies available is of course important, but even more important is the number of applicants that can apply. Find a lot of our partners tell us, you know, we have so many people applying, it's just too much. We can't work through all of it. So you can actually set the maximum applicants here. So if you want to have a ratio that you want to work on, you can decide the number of applicants or the maximum number of applicants that you want to allow. Although the opportunity will be available, you will see that they will not be able to apply, or it will show closed or no applications allowed when that maximum is reached. Okay. Then job description, just to show here that there's multiple ways you can edit and show your job description to ensure that you have all the information. We don't have, allow for a large number of characters in this section, and with all the editing available, you can give a thorough job description of what you have. And of course, importantly is where this opportunity or job will be. So in the opportunity address area, you can either select one of the addresses that you have already created, or you can go and add a new address. So if you have not already created a bank of addresses already, you can do it here. So let's say, for instance, I'm going to say, let's just use my area. And then you can, of course, do your address that you want and select it. And then furthermore, just put the contact person for that particular address in there. And the reason for that is also when you set up interviews, you have the information for this person. Once you have created an address, it will actually be available for you to select in your next opportunity as well. So this address is then saved and you can use it again. Okay. Good. So this is all the information that will be shown as the base information, but of course, and salary, of course, but we also want to be able to see what is the type of candidate that you would like to have for this opportunity. And this is where we get to opportunity requirements. So for opportunity requirements, we have education requirements that you can select, language, whether a person has a disability, and then also gender, race, and age requirements. So this is where in the background, we have some recommendation, what we call our recommendation engine running. So what we do is we match these or recommend the opportunities to candidates that actually have all of these requirements. So in other words, if you require matric, if you need somebody that can speak, it definitely has a good English speaking language and possibly another language. And then also further around disabilities, how you, whether you will allow somebody with a disability, just disabilities, or with both able-bodied and people living with disabilities. And then also what type of disabilities you can allow for instance. And the same with gender and race. You can either select all or make a specific selection if that is the job that you're looking for. So if I am looking for a particular candidate age range, I can also set it here. As a youth employment organization, we default to 18 to 34 years, but you are welcome to select your own. So this is the base information that you would have to complete for every single opportunity. The rest of the information is a choice. So as soon as we click next and we go to the second phase of the opportunity, we now have the ability to ask the young people particular questions. We have a few predefined questions that is more aligned to the youth services environment, but here is where you can also ask some custom questions. So if I would like to ask specific questions, I can either choose from the custom questions that I've created before, or I can add a new custom question, and that will then be added to my custom question bank. So I'll choose this one. What are the top 5 things you admire in people around you? But of course, a lot of our other partners ask more specific questions around job experience, sometimes also specific questions around qualifications. You can really set these up as however you want. And in development, we were hoping to release in June custom questions where you can have predefined answers, multiple choice, basically like a Google or Microsoft form that you will be able to use in your custom question section. And also, as Tracy mentioned, this is also where you can set up your voice note. So at the moment, we allow a 20-second voice note from a young person. So you can ask a question that you feel that they will be able to answer in that particular time. They have to answer for at least 10 seconds so that you can at least get a good idea of how well their spoken language is. Okay, so if we move on, oops, sorry, I missed a question there. If we move on, the last section is where you can set up interviews, what we call here selection meetings. So if you already have time slots available, you can actually come here and set up these selection meetings. And why this is important is because we want to invite our young people to these selection meetings, and we actually get a message back from them for which slots they opt in. Okay, so I'm again just going to put in my contact details. I hope it's not too much numbers now. Okay, cool. And then of course you can go and set up your slots according to how and when you would like to interview these young people. Okay, let me just make it quick. I'm going to do 5 candidates at a time, and then you can just add the slots as you move along. As I said, you can do this now, or you can also come back later when you are aware of when these interviews will occur. And that is our 3 steps. Opportunity details, most important, then our additional questions, and then finally the selection meetings. So when I click next, this opportunity is then made available for the young person on the Mobi site. Okay, so if you'll see here, I have my opportunity there. Let's quickly view it. And what is extremely important in my opportunity is the unique URL. When you create your profile, you are going to select some wording for your organization that will be included in the URL. And you can use that URL to actually share and advertise your opportunity. So if you look here, this opportunity URL, you can see here's Make a Move, that is the name of this company. So if I click on this link and I were to share this link, I'm just going to create a new window. If I share this link or advertise it, it will take the young person to the sayouth.mobi site. I'm already logged in, so I can just immediately apply. But for somebody that is not logged in, they will have the opportunity to either go and register themselves, or then go and or log in and then basically complete their application. So here's where I load my voice note. They have to speak for at least 10 seconds before they can submit the voice note, and that will then be reported in to the partner network. Now, what about all the other information? What about their matric and their qualifications, etc.? So all that information is already set up by the young person when they originally register their profile. So all of the young people answer some questions around their education, their background, what their job experience is. So all of that information is available to you when you look on the partner network. Okay, great. So I've created my opportunity. I have waited a little bit for some work seekers. And now, of course, I want to see who these work seekers are. And to get to this information, we go to opportunities and we look at manage applicants. So this is our manage applicant screen. The manage applicant screen is what I call under construction. We are definitely changing it a little, but what is great about this is that you can see all the information about a particular young person that they have submitted thus far. So when I drop down on columns, you will see there's a lot of additional information available. And, you know, it is overwhelming, but if I, for instance, want to know Did they actually have English as a first or additional language? What was their marks in English? I can get it from this information as well, whether they have matric or not. And of course, very importantly, my custom question answers. So you can make a selection according to the information that you require. And then you can also go and filter that information. So for example, if I have a requirement, a specific gender requirement, for instance, I can actually go and filter on that requirement. And then if I further want to check the answers to the custom questions and only select the ones that answer 335, I can actually go and do that filtering as well. So immediately I have the opportunity to actually go and filter out candidates that might not meet my requirements. That's a very long custom question, that. So let me just go and see if I can filter it out. There we go. Okay. So I only want 335. There we go. Let's see. Okay. So in other words, I will then immediately only have a list of applicants that I would like to review from the start. You'll see our voice note sits in this area here, and you can either play the voice note or download it to listen to it and then filter further. Okay. You have the opportunity to also download this list to Excel. And this will only show the information that is already displayed on the screen, or you can select particular applicants. So you can work off the system, but of course we would love you to work on the system. Further things that you can do from here is you can select the candidates that you would like to interview, and only if you created your selection meetings, you can send them an invite directly from here. Should they then opt into the response and say that they will join your interview, you will be able to view this on the Manage Applicant screen. And then you can also send them a custom SMS. So let's say, for instance, you would like them to bring a particular document with, or you would like to just impart some information to them, you can send the SMS as well. At the moment, it's not two-way communication, but we are working towards that. And then finally, on the Manage Applicant screen, this is a new feature. It's not even live yet. We spoke about proximity to the particular opportunity. So let me take that one out. And you will also be able to now in future see that. So basically in kilometers that I selected now, how far the young person is from a particular opportunity. I'm going to select less things here, then I will be able to see it. There we go. So there we see the proximity. It's still in testing. So if you have some notes, you're welcome to give it to us. So that is the Manage Applicant screen. And our last ask of partners to use this platform is, because it's a free platform, is that that you will tell us when you hire people. So to close off your opportunity, you have interviewed, you found great candidates. The only ask we have is that you come here and that you actually tell us who the people are that you hired or not hired, so that we are able to, from there, ascertain which candidates are right for us and also help them to upskill themselves in the right way. Okay, cool. So that is the Manage Applicant screen. And I can see, I hope that flashing is not because of bad quality, but questions. But the last thing I want to touch on is definitely also for you how to register on the partner platform. So I'm going to log out here and we will share the link with you. So if you want to join the partner network, which I hope you will just select the partner network, indicate whether you're a government organization or not, and then complete the rest of the information about your organization. So basically, just your organization name. I don't know how many Handley's companies there are already, so let's hope it's not too bad. And then remember the URL I referred to. So the URL that your company name is a part of when you share or advertise. So I'm going to say Handley Comp in there. And then also, of course, your registration number. We do validate partners that register. So we do some basic checks. Is it a registered company? Is it maybe somebody we know? We go and check that it's valid, because we don't want to share opportunities that are not valid for our young people. You'll also need to, of course, put in an address. So use Harambe's address, there we go. And then of course, the primary contact person for this organization. We do have terms and conditions. And the reason for the terms and conditions is because we need to protect the data of our young people and our partners. And for that reason, we ask partners to just comply with PAPIA and to make sure that you understand that the information that is shared with you is private. So it is important that you read through the terms and conditions and that it is also somebody that can accept those terms and conditions that actually registers the profile. Okay, so there we go. Quick registration. And then the next part is really about the contact and the user profile. So I'm going to say, yes, I'm the main contact person. If I said no, I would have to complete the details of my name and then so that I can be created separately. So I'm going to say yes, and then create my username and password. I think that would work. There we go. And then very, very importantly, you will not immediately be able to log in and create an opportunity. You will first receive an email that you will have to click on to verify. And as soon as you have actually verified your profile, we will then activate your profile after vetting the company. So it does take about 24 hours just for that process to run through, but you're also welcome to take my contact details and let me know if you have an urgent opportunity that you need to post so that we can just expedite your registration. Okay, I am going to stop here and ask if there's any questions while I'm still sharing my screen.
Yes, Hanali, there is a question in the chat. You have sort of gone through it, but I think just to expound a little bit more on how the person would go and register their profile. It's a question from Noel. Is asking, it would be great to see how we can potentially seek work seekers and applicants based on their school quintile. I think this will be very helpful for companies looking to increase their inclusive hiring. So just the process of the registration.
Okay, so the registration is what I just went through. Would you like me to just go through it again?
Yes,
so okay, great. So you'll go to, I'll share the link in the chat just now, but you'll go to partners.sayouth.org.za. And then from there, you will register your profile here. So again, you just click on join the partner network, indicate whether you're a government organization or not, and then complete very basic information around your organization. The name, your unique URL name that you would like to use, registration number, and then also your address. You can load your logo. At the moment, we don't share it on the opportunity cards yet, but we will in future. And then the primary contact person as well as your own user details. Is there anything else that's unclear around that I can answer? I'll answer the question about the quintile now. Okay, cool. Then from a recommendation perspective, we do capture the schools, the high school, and the quintile. We're actually busy making sure our quintile information is correct at the moment. So Noel, actually from your first question, I've made a note around that. And maybe possibly we can look at including it in our manage applicant screen to just show what quintile their particular high school is. At the moment, under the work seeker list, and I don't think I have one open now, and unfortunately for me, this is the one that runs the longest to get that management. Oopsie, now I'm also logged out. Let me just log in quickly. So under manage applicants, definitely wrong one. Under manage applicants, you will actually see, let me see if it's going to let me in. No. Under manage applicants, you will actually see the school they attended. So because of that, we can actually attach the quintile to that. So I've already made a note about that and possibly looking into allowing us to do that for you. Is there another question maybe?
Kindly, just a comment from Keith. He's saying an additional opportunity exists for organizations to encourage youth to register on SA Youth based on CVs received, but who have not been hired as an alternative pathway to earning and job opportunities.
Yeah.
I think that was just something important to mention.
That is very important. And I think it's we find so many partners say, please, can we see a CV? But for a young person who maybe doesn't have any job experience, they don't have a CV. But what we try and do with SAYouth.mobi and the information we get is we ask them questions about their lives and what they're busy with and whether they volunteer and whether they work in their community. And all that information is also available for you to actually view so that you can get a view of what that young person looks like. I saw a hand and it disappeared. I'm just checking.
So the hand was for Charlene, and I have asked her to unmute.
Okay, I have. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So I wanted to ask a question. You mentioned when you advertise a role and you want like 200 applicants. Yes. Well, after you've reached that number, what happens to the applicants that apply after that? Because clearly you said they won't be able to apply, but do they then create their profile and it's there for future use, or what is that process?
So yes, they will have to complete their profile before they can even try to apply. And yes, absolutely. After your profile is created, we will always then recommend jobs to you that match your experience, for instance, or matches your distance or qualifications. So absolutely, the profiles will still be there, but if your max applicants are 200, unfortunately, we don't allow for more applications than that. And that's more for the opportunity holders because they feel overwhelmed with the amount of applications they sometimes get.
Thank you, Hanali. Apologies, Julian. There was another question. It says, can I see the work seeker profile and how?
Yes, this is the work seeker profile. So in your manage applicant screen, this is where you will see the detail around the work seeker. So in this columns information is all the possible information that we have around this work seeker. So I'm going to quickly go to the Mobi site. So basically all the information that they completed in their profile and the questions that they answered, you will be able to see as part of their application. And this touches on their education, which high school they went to, did they, for instance, have English, physics, did they have math literacy, do they have any job experience? So all of that information that they complete here is available on the Manage Applicant screen for download. Okay.
Is that all on your side, Hanali?
Yes, unless there's more questions, I'll start sharing.
No, that's fine. Thank you very much, Hanali. Lynn, I'm not sure if you want to say anything. I'm conscious of the time.
Samkela, I see there aren't any more questions in the chat.
Okay, and thank you very much to everyone, Clayton, Tracy, Keith. Thank you, and also you, Hanali, as well. As you can see, we've tried to provide a user experience, and that might not be enough for all of us here in this session. You might have some practical questions, or you might want some more demo or some more insights into this as well. Lynn is available in the Eastern Cape as your rep for Pepesa. Shona is also in Gauteng as well. And our dear brother in Kingdom of KwaZulu-Natal, Jorgen, is there. And Samkelo Blom is here for you in the Western Cape. You can send us an email and we can set up and clarify any of those questions. But the main thing now, as it was mentioned earlier on, that this is for free. It provides you, as Tracy said, over 1 million access to candidates in terms of your talent for your business. This is one way that can augment or support your hiring and needs in terms of your business going forward. So please feel free to reach out and we'll happily assist and answer any questions that you might have. That is all on my side. And as we say in Cape Town, Ray Bayafele, whether it's the M3, the M5, N1 or N2, thank you very much.